Hi guys, SS again, and we continue. Oh my goodness, Ditto has become a nuisance. Oh well, um, you see, I agree. I do believe indeed Ditto has become a nuisance. She has grown to like 3 cities, I believe now. So I think it would be very beneficial for us to go to war against Ditto. Um, Now I don't actually plan to go to war, just because I don't have enough units to go to war with. Um, But I do want him to go to war. But I don't want to go to war. Um, hmm. He plays a dangerous game. Um, I think it's better to play one side than to not play any sides at all. Because eventually, if you play neutral in this game, someone's gonna come and bite you in the ass. Someone's gonna come and you know dethrone you, oust you eventually. So it's important to try and play sides. Um, Gosh. I don't know. I don't know. You see, so I feel like Ditto's relatively close to us. It's to the point where she could actually pose somewhat of a threat, maybe. Um, but I don't know. So, well, actually, maybe we should have gone to war. Because I feel like if we built some units, we probably could have gotten like some pretty good cities. Um, and maybe we should have. I should have saved. But yeah, too late now. Too late now. Um, Dang it! It's another one of those. I hate that. But yeah, we're continuing along. You know, this area here because I'm trying to find any additional settlements um, made by Attila, so we could convert them. I know these cities are eventually going to become Catholic. Eventually. Um, just because everyone else around them is. So they too will eventually fall to the Catholic faith. It's only a matter of time. Quite honestly, it is. So we'll just have to wait for that to happen. And then we'll get aqueducts. It's always good. Oh, it looks like Germany built a city here somewhere, which means they're encroaching. So oh, good. We have a spy. Thank you. Okay. Well, we'll move this guy to Milan. Because Milan's the closest city-state to us, so it's important that we keep good diplomatic relations with Milan. So yeah, if I could have a second chance at going to war with Carthage, I probably would. Probably would. It'd be difficult, but I probably would. So, and then we are going for chivalry, because we do want the Alhambra. I just think the Alhambra would be nice to have, because it's like culture. It's good for military units. So, let's see. You know what? I don't think Attila has any more cities. You see, Hipporegus and Gades have already fallen to the Catholic faith, which is nice. Which is good. Do we want barracks or walls or markets? I guess we'll go for market. So we have market now. So, yeah, I mean, that's that. I mean, there's really not much to say about this game, really. Everything's going rather smoothly. Nothing too terribly exciting. Mecca has returned to being the Catholic faith, the religion that it once was before. So it seems as though Confucianism is a dying religion. If I do say so myself, it is, at least. So, which is nice, which is nice. It will be soon put down. And will be brought back down to its place. I feel like Carthage would be a really good civilization to play on an archipelago map. I don't know. Not that I would know or anything. You know. Well, you guys know how that works. You guys know how that works, so I guess I won't get into it too terribly much. But, gosh, we need to get astronomy like ASAP. We do, because this is too slow. This is too slow for me. I'm sure it's too slow for you guys too. Goodness. To the you know, people who watch. I appreciate it, by the way, if you do. So thank you, by the way. I never really show my appreciation, I suppose, but I do appreciate, the few viewers I get, or the any viewers I get. They're all appreciated on anything. If I do Star Wars toys, or hey, there's a topic for discussion. Yeah, actually, I think I'll talk about it. Okay, so guys, Force Friday happened a while ago, by the way. And because I have nothing else to talk about, I'm going to talk about Star Wars Force Friday. And apparently, this Force Friday was a lot less. It wasn't as successful as the previous Force Fridays, and there's several reasons to this. I think, primarily, I think the first reason being is that this isn't a main Star Wars movie that's being released in December, right? When Star Wars Episode 7 came out, it was like, okay, this is like Episode 7. Like this is the continuation in, the Star Wars movies, right? And so it was much more, I don't want to use the word hyped, but it definitely was a lot more anticipated, right? It was definitely more like, okay, this movie has much more weight than just like Star Wars Rogue One. Star Wars Rogue One succeeds, Star Wars Rogue One succeeds, right? But at least if Star Wars Rogue One doesn't succeed and it kind of fails, which I'm not saying it will, but if it does fail, right, it's like, okay, well, Star Wars Rogue One wasn't a main Star Wars movie. It wasn't in the original trilogy. It wasn't in the prequels, and it most certainly isn't part of these new Star Wars movies that are going to be releasing, right? So 7, 8, and 9, right? It's definitely not part of that trilogy either. So you have to look at it from that perspective and understand that, hey, consumers probably aren't as excited about Rogue One as what they would have been for, as they would have been for like Episode 8, or as they will be for Episode 8. Also, I think another main factor is that Hasbro, I think, made a huge mistake when they split the Star Wars kind of collecting community in two. Because what they did was they released the 3 3/7-inch figures, right? The 3 3/4-inch figures. And they still have the 3 3/4-inch figures, but they have like the 5 points of articulation 3 3/4-inch figures, which isn't bad if you're a kid. And in fact, Hasbro actually markets those figures towards kids, and they say, hey, look, these are marketed mainly towards kids, and that's not a bad thing, but it's just that, okay, now you've kind of isolated, you've made those figures and who they appeal to much narrower, right? Now they don't appeal to as many people. Because if before you kept like the super articulated figures with like, ball hinged knees, ball hinged ankles, okay, maybe not, okay, yeah, well, yeah, ball hinged ankles, ball hinged knees, ball hinged elbows, ball hinged shoulders, right? You kept that kind of articulation. Then it's like, okay, like no one would have had a problem. Like kids, they would have had a lot more articulation with their figures, which would have been great for them. And for everyone else, it would have been like, okay, cool, that's nice, right? And I think like a lot more like older collectors actually want more articulation, and I want more articulation on my figures. Yeah, I do. Why wouldn't you? And so I think Hasbro made a mistake. I mean, I don't know how it's paying off for them. I'm sure they're doing all right, but I just think personally, in my opinion, I think that was a mistake to kind of split the community like that. And so I think that's the other thing that kind of had a major impact, was not only was it not like a movie that was as, people were as excited for, but it's also because the toy line just simply isn't as good, right? I mean, let's be honest, right? People are, the people that are going to go to Force Friday at like midnight are the ones that are very much so dedicated to Star Wars collecting Star Wars action figures, right? They're not the people who are just casual fans, and I don't like using the term casual fans, but in all due respect, they're not the people that are just like passive fans of Star Wars, like, oh, I'll just watch a Star Wars movie whenever it's on. I mean, we're talking about like fans who get up like in the middle of the night, stand in line, for a Star Wars release of toys, right? And I think that has to say something about their character and who they are. And I'm not saying it says anything bad, but I think it's a testament to their fanaticism for Star Wars, their love for Star Wars, and particularly their love for the Star Wars action figure lines, right, that Hasbro has made. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people were kind of a little bit turned off by the fact that, hey, the figures that we're getting now just simply aren't as good. They're not at the quality that we used to get before. So not only are we paying more for these figures, but they're just simply not as good either. And that's a huge problem, I think. Gosh, all these. I mean, they'll convert back eventually, though. They'll convert back eventually. Like, look at this. They'll convert back eventually, but so I think that's another problem. I'll talk about that a little bit more later on. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna end this part here. I'll see you guys later. Thanks. Bye.